I listen to that real keep going
Girl,
every day.
I think every second.
Every day.
I needed it more this week, I think, than anything else, than any other time.
Realistically speaking, if we told our viewers that they were coming along on this journey with us, it was not after I have come out of, let me tell you how I got through. It's a no, right now, this very moment, this second, this is how I feel. This is what I'm going through. Nevertheless, this is how I deal with it. I'm not, again, not angry, mad, or upset. It's just, I am going through a pruning season does not feel good.
Right.
It does not. When you have been, I don't want to say triggered, but when you have been made aware of people in your life that maybe their season is up or they have ran its course, that does not feel good, especially when, you are forced to see you and how you respond to things, how I respond to things, and the way that God decides to deal with me and show me me. Like, I've had a mirror every day and it does not look good. It just doesn't. It doesn't mean I'm keeping it that way. It means that I'm willing and able to change to be the person that I know that He created me to be. It's just, it doesn't look like sunny and rainbows and flowers and
not that it's supposed to, because that's not realistic.
But that is what people want to see.
Sure.
And when they don't see that, then they're mad because you're not giving them the expectation and the hope of what they want it to be.
That relates to last week's episode when we were talking about how people let you down because that's the expectation you give. If you give, I'm all perfect all day, every day, then the moment in which you have a bad day, yeah, people are going to look at you like, what is wrong with you?
Which is why I'm okay with today being a chill, I'm processing day.
And that's fine. I just wanted to make sure, because the episode that I was crying on, again, yeah, Isaac recorded it and it was 2 weeks later and I said, I'm not in that space no more, but I was okay because that's the space that I was in that moment.
Right. And that's why I'm totally okay with the space that I'm in. It has nothing to do with upset and anger, but it does make me analyze, as we were talking about it earlier, about what support looks like and what my expectations are and what your expectations are. And even the realest conversation that we just had a couple days ago, which was, we are completely in two different spaces in our life. And we didn't know that we viewed each other in the same capacity of, is she going to leave me or is she going to make it further than me? And that's a real conversation. And then to have our producer too make a comment, he had no clue about what was being said, but that's a real space. And then this morning receiving, a message from somebody that was like, oh yeah, by the way, who doing XYZ and I want to know about this. And it's like, so you only reach out because you want to know something to help you?
I think that's the culture of human beings in general. It's always, how can it benefit me, and never how can I benefit you?
And that's a problem.
Yeah, I just think that's the culture that we're in. Now, you have select people like me and you who could care less about how it could affect me. Not care less, I won't say that, but you think more of, how can I help you? How can I help you? How can I help you? And then we end up lacking.
Absolutely, every time.
Story of my life.
And that season is OVER. Yeah. And I'm so serious, with all due respect. I give and give and give and give until I don't have nothing left.
And then when I don't have nothing, I'ma still try.
And it's just not realistic anymore. It just isn't, especially when I think that's what it is for me, is finding out who I should be giving to, because love gives, but it receives as well. And go figure, we're in February, where it's love month, allegedly. And I say loosely, allegedly.
It's love month.
Whatever.
It is.
But love give and it doesn't always just take. It gives and it receives. And so me analyzing my circle, my tribe, I am very selective. We both share mutual friends that we gave and gave and gave and gave until it hurt, until we realized years later, yo, have you ever received?
Yeah.
And the answer was no. And that's a problem.
Yeah, I think it's the analogy of you pouring from an empty cup. Like I can't, because I continue to pour and pour and pour and pour and pour. And my expectation is not for people to give on the level that I do, because that's what I do. I'm not asking you to match that, but I am asking for a level of I see you and I want to. Authentically.
It comes naturally. It's not because you're giving because you're trying to get something in return, or you're giving because you don't want it to appear that you're not. It's just innate. And that's that's the tribe I'm attracting. If you're not naturally in it too, everything I do says, you know me. I'm always looking for, how can I put somebody on? How can this, even though this is benefiting me, how can I also allow this to reach out and say, okay, this person is going to benefit? And I have come to the realization that everybody does not think like that.
Yeah, nobody does. Nobody.
They just do not.
I'm like, are we aliens? There's no way that nobody is thinking like that. And then you end up hurting your own feelings.
Because the expectation is your heart is genuinely, that's the way that I'm made. Do you understand? Like, I have given when I didn't have to give, but because of my experience of feeling like I didn't have somebody in my corner, I vowed that if it was in my power, you would never feel like that from me.
Do you think, well, I speak for me. I know that I've come out of a season where I used to give because I wanted, it's the level that I wanted. Like I love this hard because my desire is somebody to love me back this
Absolutely.
hard. And so I think now I don't love like that anymore. I love because that's who I am.
Absolutely.
And if I don't receive it from you, then I realize I'm not going to change who I am. I'll just find somebody, or not find somebody, but find somebody who will love me on that same level.
My issue is I'm there 100% with you. My issue is I feel guilty for not doing it though, for not giving the same amount that I would to somebody who is receiving and giving in the same capacity. I fight with that all the time. Like, oh, God gonna be mad at you for doing that, or you ain't giving your all with every situation, because it's a guilt trip. And the reason why is because when I was younger, there was a lot of manipulation, whether it be in the church. Can we talk about this? And I know it's gonna touch a lot of people's situations, but I don't care. I'm gonna say what I'm gonna say. A lot of churches use manipulation to control people. I'm sorry. And that's a problem. Now, be it as it may, if whoever it is that's listening and they feel like that's their church, that's between you and the Lord. I'm not calling and pinpointing no church specifically. I'm saying there are a lot of churches that do that. And because of that, people use that as a reason to be mad at God or to be mad at the church. And then they say, well, I ain't going because of XYZ. Because genuinely, love is God. God is love.
Right.
And so at the end of the day, when you cannot have love without including God. So in no facet, he said he's agape. That means unconditional. But we have conditional love.
Right. But people blame this circumstance or the situation. Like they blame the church. They blame the pastor. But they don't, like, I'm not saying put the blame, but it's the people. It's not the building. God didn't do it. It's the people that you're allowing to manipulate you, or the people that you're allowing to not give on the same level. That's why I said I'm not going to change who I am.
Yeah.
I've realized that this is me. I love unconditionally. I care not too much because, again, that's who I am. I care, I love, I give. This is who I am. I'm no longer in the business, like you said, of giving it to people who, don't respect it when it's given, or don't give it back to me. I'm just not doing it anymore, because I know there are people, i.e. why me and you is like we are, because we speak the same language.
Yes.
And we know when something is off, because I don't expect everybody to be like Nigel, but I do expect the love to almost match. You know what I'm saying?
Because all love, all roads lead to God. He will show you and because we all belong to him. So, but there are some people who don't belong to him. Bottom line, they don't. Not because you can't, because you choose not to.
Right.
So your action reflect who you belong to, which is not him. So at the end of the day, if something is off in my spirit, because I discern. And my thing is, because of the trauma and because of the issues that I've had, whether it be church hurt, whether it be family hurt, whether it be whatever, hurt is hurt. I don't care how you slice the pie. At the end of the day, we are one and the same when it comes to giving and giving and giving, because that's who we are.
Right.
So I would never, believe me or not, that is my character all day long. That's why I think it hurts so bad, is because I don't desire to change who I am, meaning the aspect of giving and loving and being supportive, and that supportive friend I'm supposed to be. We just talked about it earlier today. Regardless if somebody supported me or not, if they asked me to go, some people like, you won't do it, I ain't doing it.
Right.
I'm matching energy. I'm not like that.
I'm not doing
I'm
it.
going to go, but I may not go full throttle. I may not go all out like I would, but I'm going to support you because that's who I am.
Right.
I'm not going to do to you what you did to me, because who lose and win?
And it's going to bother me more, honestly, if I don't go.
That's what I mean.
If I don't go and I don't support, it's gonna bother me more, because that's who I am. But what I will not do is go over
That's
and
what I
beyond.
mean.
I'm not doing it, because my expectation is, because I know that you won't do it for me, because you haven't. Not know that you won't. You haven't done it for me. I'm not gonna set myself up and then be in my feelings. So to protect my peace and protect myself, I'm not going over and beyond for you anymore. But will I support you because I want to see you win?
Yep.
Absolutely.
So that goes to this statement of teaching people how to treat you.
Yep.
At the end of the day, that is what it is about. Support is free.
Mm-hmm.
It is free. People could say all day, oh, I support y'all. I support y'all podcast. I support your business. How many times have you shared? How many times have you sent a text message? You pay your phone bill anyway. That text does not cost like it was back in the day.
Yeah, because they did.
They cost back in the day, every text. Your nights and weekends used to have to be free. Now, in the time you call, it's included in your plan. How many times have you said to somebody, hey, go do what, and it's free.
Yeah.
It is not, but people take that as, oh, well, I support you because I watched it, or I support you behind the scenes. If you cannot support me in public, then don't support me behind closed doors.
People only, what I kind of realize is people only support you. They only want you to win if they win.
And that's a problem too.
And that leads to the conversation that we had on Monday. It was, even if I don't win at the same time that you win, I want, and you know what? It gives me a little notch on my belt because I know you.
Yeah.
I feel good about that. Like, no, like, that's my homegirl for, like, we rock tough and she's winning. So regardless, I win too.
Yeah.
No matter if it was, if you win tomorrow and I don't win 5 years from now, I still won because a piece of me won.
But let me tell you, because that is your nature, my nature is I don't win without you. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Even if it's not in the same capacity. You do makeup, so somebody asks me, I'm saying, oh, here go my 3 and this is my top. I find a way for you to win. So you ain't got to worry about saying, oh, well, whether you do it or not, I'm going to do it. I'm rocking because my mindset ain't even built like that.
Yeah.
I'm built like whoever's in my tribe, whether regardless or not, oh, so my friend, she do carpets. Oh, my friend do production. Oh, my husband play drum. Whatever it is, whatever, I look for opportunities for God's name to be expanded in the kingdom and for my tribe to be blessed in whatever capacity. If I'm the gatekeeper to get you to the next level, why would I not? But because I'm built like that and somebody else is not, they're only out for themselves. Now I have a great discernment of spirit. Like, I can't, the answer is a no for me.
But you can discern. When it's always a take, you know, okay, you're not really supporting me. You just want what I have.
But sis, we just realized that, and it's been 6 years. Do you understand what I'm saying?
When you think on a level that we do, it takes time. But now that we're in the space, oh no, we won't go. But because of who we are, we think that everybody else is like that.
And that's what I'm saying is scary, because I did not know. Like, you hear that, but you genuinely, now I understand that people are not like that. We are like dimes.
And we lose sleep and they don't care.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because for what? Like,
because it was never about.
I don't care. Like, okay, congratulations. I see you from afar, but it is what it is. And then realizing the higher we go, the higher that the Lord takes us, because I want to make that very clear that nothing that we do is operated off of ourselves. God is in control.
Absolutely.
But the higher we go, I know that it'll always be an issue.
Yeah.
But now that we know, and now that we have the tools, oh no, you won't get me.
Yeah.
It's just not an option.
Yeah.
And so support can go whether you supported me from 10 feet away or whether you supported me in my face.
Mm-hmm.
But whether I support you in that capacity, it just depends.
Yeah.
It just depends.
Listen, I'm there. I am 100% there. I feel like with everything, even the trials and tribulations that has come with what we have talked about, these issues and these topics are genuinely what we are going through.
Yeah.
And sometimes prophetic.
Mm-hmm. Majority of the time, prophetic.
Yeah. Like when we just said, like, I go back on Instagram and I just encourage myself, keep going, keep going, like I am talking to me saying, pick up your bags and you keep moving, regardless of what it looks like. And as I hear people say all the time, the higher they go, whether it's Tyler Perry, whether it's our pastors or whomever, I've heard them say all the time, the people that you thought was rocking with you,
right?
You be like, what?
Mm-hmm.
That hurts. It does not feel good. And guess what? You still got to keep going.
You don't have no choice. Because you're going to stop your success because folk ain't supporting you in the which no. I know that the Lord wouldn't even be pleased with that. Like, be for real.
And so then it makes you question the value of success to you. You have to reevaluate that thing again. Because for me, and I've said this like 5 podcast episodes ago about what success is and why you do it, and it's about the family and the legacy and all those things, and it is about that. But people don't tell you the journey to get there.
No.
And then they actually don't tell you how to keep it. Because when you have attained the level, then what? That's why for me, it's always about being extended, like making sure that you bringing people with you. The one is supposed to. Now right. I understand this is the one that's supposed to go with you. But that's why it makes it worth it, because you got somebody to talk with you.
And you know what I realized, and the Lord just dropped this on me. He said, if I'm removing people as you scale up, then I'm doing the correct thing. I would not, my heart's desire is to not reach, granted we grow, but I'm saying the plateau in this conversation, reach the highest success and be like, why are these people with me?
Come on.
What in the world? So today, right now, I'm like, Lord, I thank you for saying this person just can't go with you.
Yeah.
They may have made it all the way up until this point.
Yeah.
But no longer, because what it's going to do is damage what I have given you. Yeah. And if I blessed it, nobody going to tear it apart.
Yeah.
So I'm like, he literally just dropped that on me, because as we're having this conversation, and as the weeks have progressed of having this conversation, it hurts.
Yeah.
It's bothersome, because the people that have dropped off, you want them to be with you, but the Lord said, I can't bring them along with you, because they're not going to mess up what I blessed you with. They can have their own lane, and you can support them from afar. Hey girl, you doing it big, you showing out, but you're not going to be on a Grammy stage with me. Yeah. You're not going to be on an Oscar stage with me. That's just not, you're going to watch it from the TV. And you're going to say, I knew her. And that's what it's going to be. And Instagram DMs, I'm supporting you. I see you. And that's what it is. But you being in the back in the dressing room, waiting for me to come out on my talk show, that's just not your position.
Come on, talk show.
Oh, I got to throw them all out there. I don't want to leave nothing behind.
And I completely 100% understand that, because that's the conversation that I think I opened up at your house. We were talking, and the Holy Spirit's prompted me to he was like, be vulnerable, just say it. And I'm like, I don't want to say that, not knowing that you were dealing with the same thing, because I said the same thing. I'm like, dang, so I know you're getting ready to go to Atlanta and talk about New York and stuff, and things, even up until this very point, like the fact that I'm married and have kids and pursuing real estate and continue to build. And now we have the platform and the merchandise and When Music Speaks and all this stuff happening. And it was like, we have 2 completely different lives. And for a long time, it was just us.
Right.
It was just me, you, Makai, and Jaden.
Yep. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It was.
And so when we talk about friendship and we talk about the things about like getting a spouse or whatever and not allowing them to move, that experience is because we remember when it wasn't spouses and we were helping each other live.
Mm-hmm.
And so when they see this authentic, because we hear all the time, you guys, are you related? We get more are you related than we get are you friends?
Yeah.
And it's crazy because I think we are definitely kindred spirits in that capacity, because I feel like sometimes I'm an older version of you.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And my life mission when I met you was, what you will not do is make the same mistakes I made. That's what you will not do.
Mm-hmm.
But what you will do is find who God made you to be. Because I'm still finding me. Just celebrated birthday. Praise the Lord, everybody, right? And every year I feel like there's an unlocking and an unleashing in me that I'm like, what I did last year will never be again.
Mm-hmm.
What I did 2 years ago, I'm determined to learn. If there was nothing else, I'm determined to learn, because what you cannot teach, you have not learned. And you're going to go through it again. One thing my mom, if I never forget anything or remember anything else that she ever said, she was like, God is not Hillsborough County Public Schools. He is not any school you have been to where they like, okay, after a certain age, we're just going to push you through. You will go through that same situation, that same battle, that same struggle over and over and over and over again until you learn.
Yeah, you got to get it.
What he is trying to show you. Because the next level is the same thing, but on a different level.
Mm-hmm.
If you struggle with your attitude, you struggle with popping off in the mouth, you struggle with finances, you struggle with being authentic, you struggle with those things you carry with you.
Yep.
For me, I had one of the worst, best experiences of my life last week.
Mm-hmm.
An encounter that I feel like was so necessary that I had to face the 7-year-old version of Nija that I never want to see again. Because I was vulnerable and afraid of being abandoned and left and not valued.
Mm-hmm.
Until the point where I had my 7-year-old little girl still present in my life, in my 35-year-old self. Because she was never healed, because I never apologized to her, because I never faced her and said, guess what? I know what you've been through. I'm sorry that you had to go through that, but this is not that. You went through that so you can get to this. And in your winning, the reason why God wouldn't allow me to be successful to the amount that I wanted to be then was because that would have been handing keys to the 7-year-old me.
Yep.
That same thing that I was like, the Lord, when he's a good dad, he would not. And he was like, I'm glad you know.
So let's bring it out.
So let's really grow.
Yeah.
Because I desire to give you everything that what beyond your greatest imagination, because I am a good father.
Mm-hmm.
But I need you to understand that who you are and your emotions mentally, you are not healed from that 7-year-old.
Right. And sometimes we count on, and I'm not speaking for you, but I'll speak for me. We count on other people to heal that 7-year-old. But as you get older, she still is knocking at the door saying, no, I'm still at this point and nobody has helped me through it. Mm-hmm. We just been living it. Mm-hmm. So now at your age, you had to go back and make sure she was good.
Because I didn't know that she wasn't good.
Right.
I thought it was just trauma. I thought it was just triggers. And we talked about that too, how you are not healed. You have triggers and trauma and you want everybody else to tiptoe around them. And that's not normal.
No.
What I'm doing to you is actually normal, but it's not normal to you because it says it's ouch. It's because you're not healed. And so now I have to correct myself and operate unnormal for you to feel normal.
And that's not
and I'm
cool
not ever doing
to the
that.
people around you.
It's not fair.
You will lose everyone around you operating like that. Because people don't know how to, I'm going to say something. Mm-hmm. I got to tiptoe around your feelings. And here's the thing too, you got to get a community around you where you're okay with doing physical therapy with them. If my right leg is hurting and I tell you now my right leg is hurting and you continue to punch it, you're not for me.
Yeah.
But at least I'm openly telling you. Sometimes we don't even say it.
Yeah.
Sometimes I allow you to keep hitting it and I'm not even telling you it hurt.
Yeah.
And then my rebuttal is to yell and scream, and you like, well, you ain't never even told me that it hurt. Boom, that's another person that exits your life. Instead of saying, hey, this hurts, can you walk it out with me? My doctor, God, my physical, whatever y'all use to get through your situation, they told me that I need to move it a little bit, to operate a little bit. But they also said, if I got somebody next to me, a spouse, a friend, or whatever, they can work it out with me. I just think that we have to get in a space and being open and vulnerable and telling our friends, our spouse, this is the space that I'm in, and then giving them the space to say, I'm rocking it with you.
But it starts with understanding that you have a problem.
Yes.
Most of the time, people who have a problem don't admit or acknowledge that they have one. And so all you're saying is, you offended me, you offended me, you offended me. But why are you offended?
Don't even know why.
What causes the offense? And for me, it wasn't only that I was walking around offended. It was because I genuinely had abandonment issues where I thought the reason why my dad left or my mom and dad split was because I wasn't good enough, because I wasn't worthy enough. Why didn't you call me? So I'm walking around feeling unworthy because why don't you want me? Why was I not worth the fight? And so I spent my entire life looking for people to just fight for me because that was my evidence of love.
Yep.
And so when I didn't get it, it was, you don't love me. When the problem was, I just didn't feel that way because of, as a child. That's why it's so important. And so I would drill this as long as I am able to. If the Lord has blessed you with children, because first of all, everybody cannot. So if God has blessed you with children, it is so imperative that you need Jesus and a therapist. Millennials were raised on, no, you need the Lord. Go pray, go tarry.
And that's why we're the most toe up now.
Toe up, but not really. Because somebody said,
I'm not dealing with this.
I'm not doing this no more.
I'm not. Yeah.
Because we were raised with, oh, you go to therapist, you crazy. You do that. Don't tell them people your business, because you need to tell somebody
your business.
Because you dealing with it by yourself got you where you at now.
Yep.
That's why your life is in shambles. That's why you on the brink of divorce. That's why you around here drinking alcohol every night, can't go to sleep. That's why you depressed when you wake up. That's why you don't know if you're going to come in and you happy and you looking for things, because you're broken. And you can't fix you.
Yep.
And believe it or not, if you just going to church was going to fix it, you would have been fixed already.
Because be for real.
I'm not discounting the Bible. I'm not discounting the church. I'm not discounting prayer, because can we just agree that you need all of it?
What's wrong with all of it?
Like, why do you have to choose and say this or that? Can you just agree to say all things are working together? That you do need prayer and the anointing and your pastor and
your
the therapist?
Yes.
Can we just agree to that?
Yeah.
Why do I have to choose?
Because then that's how you heal every part of you.
Come on, because your emotions, even that, like I was raised where you was like, you gotta be hard. You can't be crying. And don't be doing all of that because you ain't got faith if you scared. That is not true, man. That's not true. It's okay to be timid. It's okay to have embrace your feelings. It's not okay to live there.
Right.
I said, feel it, embrace it, understand it, but don't live in that space. That's where you go wrong. But if nobody taught you that,
yeah, because what we do is just get used to the limp. This is how
that's how I am, and it's not.
But you can fix the limp.
Hello.
But what we do is, okay, this is what it is. I got a limp, and this is my life, and this is who I am, and it is what it is. No. We're not operating out of that space anymore.
2024, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 35, 30, 35. I am embracing all of it. I'm embracing all of it in different seasons. And I'm not allowing nobody to tell me, even in businesses, I have been made to feel like, oh my gosh, what don't you do? Like you do real estate, you got a catering company, you're doing When Music Speaks, you're doing a podcast, you're doing Eva's. and I'm going to keep going.
Mm-hmm.
Because who told me that I couldn't? You give me one millionaire that got all their eggs in one basket and I'll wait.
But not only that, who said that God is just going to put me in one pocket and say I'm only good at singing?
But unfortunately, the mindset of people, they want you to be in the category of what they see you as. And if you're anything outside of that, then they don't want to deal with you. But I've come to realization is that I'm not a part of your tribe. And I'm okay with that. Because I told you my favorite book in the Bible, not book, my favorite story in the Bible is the servant who had a lot of talent. I am going to go see my maker with 55 gifts. He's going to say, you know what, daughter? You use you even got some talent from somebody else and made some shake. For kingdom expansion, I am not apologizing another day in my life for being who God made me to be. And I mean that thing. I am not good at everything, but I'm good at a lot of stuff. And guess what? It's all working together because somebody that I'm connected to, that's their gift. And I may have 20%, but you got the 80. And together we make 100.
Exactly.
So I'm not going to apologize no more for being good and great. What I'm going to do is make sure I'm in the right season. Oh,
That is what it is.
grandma's winning tongue. Don't play
You
with
could be
me.
out of season doing a bunch of different things.
Do you understand?
Yep. And that's when, I have to listen to the voice of God. God, in this season, what am I supposed to be
Come
doing?
on.
I have put up this facade of I'm supposed to be a nurse. No, you aren't.
Listen.
That is the backup plan because that is what everybody else told you would be good for you.
Yes.
And granted, I'm not saying that's what I'm not going to do. But last week, I had to look at myself and say, well, what makes you happy?
Come on. Come on.
That doesn't make you happy in this season.
Come on.
And maybe you could be all that you want to be and then say, okay, now I want to be a nurse. But don't put yourself in this category if you have to do that right now, if that's not what makes you the happiest now, with the help of the Lord. For everybody to know, if God didn't say it, don't do it. But I mean, stop doing things that make other people happy and you're miserable.
It's all about season. I have been chasing my life feeling like purpose. What's my purpose? What's my purpose? What's my purpose? Your purpose is, what season are you in?
Right now.
What is your season today?
That is your purpose.
I've been in real estate since 2015, but there was a season where I sold nothing.
Yep.
Because my season changed to say, okay, you have that, you have the credentials, you have your certificates and the education and the experience, but I'm gonna put that on the back burner for right now. Oh, thank you, Lord. When we cooking, because I like to cook meals. My first business I ever started was B. Lorraine's catering company. When we're cooking, we don't cook one thing at a time.
Right.
You have multiple burners for different pots to get to the end result of the meal to make it faster. And the rice works with the chicken, and the chicken works with the collard greens, and the collard greens, different things, but same meal.
I do one better. Sometimes the chicken get more attention than the rice at that moment because
because it take longer. Can we just
run.
Can we just acknowledge the fact that some things we were taught were wrong? And God has been using his infinite time to get our minds to be unlocked in the way to embrace who we truly are.
Yep.
And while we're trying to live for people, instead of living for the purpose God has made, that's why we're made in the way that we are made to give, because that's who we are. And the enemy tries so hard to make us hard and to make us like unlovable, if we're not unlovable, but the attitude and all that stuff, because of what we truly have to offer this world. That's why people identify and connect, because it's like, I see pieces of me in you.
Yep.
And until we actually came to grips when say, listen, reality is, I don't want it to just be like, oh my gosh, my friend for to leave me. Or you were saying the same thing, oh my gosh, she got all this stuff and she gonna leave me. And it's not even that. It's truly being comfortable in who God made us to be and trusting his will for our life, that I genuinely don't feel like we ever going nowhere as far as friendship is concerned. But I feel like it possibly could have been that had we not understood who we are, because that's how jealousy creeps in. Friendships break up because of lack of understanding.
Majority of the time.
And because you're afraid to be vulnerable to say, can I just lay my cards on the table and trust you with my heart enough that when I said you're not going to stump on it?
But that just goes to show, like, people can look at us and say, oh, your communication is perfect. We still have moments where it's like, I don't want to say that to her. Oh, maybe I shouldn't, or maybe she'll respond. And then we get to the point where it's like, well, she's never responded in that way. So let me just be open. And then realizing we both felt the same way.
The same way.
And because our conversations, like you said, are prophetic, we had to have that conversation to prepare us for what is about to happen.
Yes.
Whatever that looks like, I don't know. But I know that we had to have that conversation.
Yeah.
To know whatever it is, we good.
Because when I'm traveling and going, I always want to tour and tell the Lord gospel and sing and I don't really want to preach, but I feel like it's in my belly.
You might not want to do that, but whatever the Lord wants you to do.
I'm been surrendered.
Right.
I don't run.
Right.
My mom used to call me run. I don't run no more. Whatever, Lord, that you got. But I have come to the realization that the reason why God has allowed me to see what I need to see with the people that are around me because of how he created my heart to be, I genuinely want to see everybody win.
Yeah.
And I know the people who are connected to me are supposed to. I've been speaking over my life since I knew what money was, that I know I'm supposed to be a multi-billionaire, like multi, and not for myself only, because I'm fitting in that category too. Mm-hmm. But it is to leave an inheritance. It is to open doors. It is to bless people. It is giving them the opportunities that they never would have thought, but it ain't me. You know how many times God has dropped $1,000 in my lap and have said that money ain't for you? Mm-hmm. And I've had to give it. And with a free heart, I have done it every time. Just recently, people was like, hey, this money. And he's like, don't play with me because that's not yours. Do what you're supposed. And I'm not going to fight you.
Obedience.
I'm going because it's better than sacrifice.
Yes.
That's the way I'm built.
And we would be a fool to think that God wants us to give something and he won't give us 10-fold, 100-fold, 1,000-fold.
Understand?
You would be crazy.
I'm blessed the way that I am now because I have no problem doing what he's telling me to do.
Yep.
Money has always been my struggle because I know it's going to be my biggest blessing. They always say whatever you struggle with the most, that is what you're called to do in the earth that's going to make the biggest impact. And finances has been my homeless, struggling, almost kicked out, and it's not because I was just poorly managing. I just didn't have I was living a life of just enough. And sometimes because he supplies, baby, but it was for a long time. But I know my season is here of more than an abundant and beyond my ever thoughts, dreams, whatever I can imagine. But I have the understanding that it's not just for me.
Yep.
In whatever capacity. When I tell you my thoughts and what I think, and I know this is prophetic and it's crazy, like I don't dropping $350,000 to buy somebody how that means nothing to me. What means everything to me is to know that you have been praying. I was not aware and God answered because it's about him.
Yep.
It's about him. I look for opportunities for him to be magnified and glorified, and we get no credit. Mm-hmm. I don't want it.
Yeah.
I want you to know that he still lives.
Right. And I want you to say God did it, because then I will know for sure. I know I listened to you, Dad. I heard you right. I heard you right.
Yes.
Yep.
And it starts with support. How can I support the kingdom? And if you don't have a heart posture of supporting the kingdom, you can never support me because I'm a part of the kingdom.
Right.
And you're supposedly part of the kingdom. And if everybody had that mindset, you imagine what this world would be?
Yeah.
So when we started this podcast, I was a little ruffled a little bit, girl, because that thing had to...
Just got to get it all out.
I had to get it out. I want, what you see is what you get. It ain't no faking over here. It ain't no, oh, well, let's come on. I'm not putting on for nobody. I'm going to tell you who I am. I feel better now than I got out of the house.
Yo.
In the most respectful way.
Yeah. But I mean, of course, like we said, it starts with support. But like we always say at the end, in herself.
Come on.
So you have to know what works for me? How does heaven want to be loved?
Yeah.
How does heaven, how do I feel when I'm waking up in the morning? Do I feel beautiful? Like, how do you feel? And
Yes.
then that will reflect on how everybody else is going to treat you. And then once, if somebody is not treating you how you desire, let them loose.
Immediately. And you can still love from a distance. My expectation on how I communicate has changed. It doesn't mean my cutoff don't mean I'm shading you or I'm being disrespectful. It just means, and we could talk about this on the next episode of what does it mean to protect your peace. Because sometimes people use protect your peace as you being nasty or you being like, I don't do, no, protecting your peace don't have to be all of that because you angry.
Yeah, but that's the thing. You're not, and of course, healing is a continuous thing. But if you still feel some type of way, if you back up for somebody and still feel some type of way, you have work to do.
Yes.
You should be able to back up from things and say, no, I feel better.
I feel better.
So if you don't, you still got work to do.
A lot. And it starts with being real with who you are.
Yep.
It's okay to not be okay. And if you're not okay and you don't have a therapist, find one. Because they're going to trigger some questions that you can't trigger within you to get to the root of the issue.
Yep.
I'm going to recommend this book, but I know we say not going to talk about books because y'all don't like to read, but The Garden Within by, I believe her name is Dr. Anita Phillips. And one day I'm speaking to this. She's going to be my therapist. She's my therapist in my mind. But I started reading her book because when I tell you it has helped, and I'm only on like chapter 5. But start somewhere to get, if you desire to truly be the best version of yourself every year that God gives you breath in your body, the work starts with you. In herself, it starts inside.
Yeah.
And so that's my suggestion in this love month. Start with you. I hope y'all get all the balloons and the flowers and the chocolate candy that you can imagine. I feel like, you know how I feel about Valentine's Day. Every day is Valentine's Day in this house. Don't wait for no one day to tell me happy Valentine.
Okay.
But, okay.
In herself, she is loved.
In herself, but he does do that though. That's why I'm saying it ain't everybody.
No. I wasn't saying it because of that, because people really have the expectation of, listen, that is a totally different day. You have the expectation of, I love you on Valentine's Day, and then you don't love me the rest of the year.
And that's why I said we don't do that. We trying to free everybody, including ourselves.
Yeah.
That is not in my household. Valentine's Day is whenever you feel the notion of God blows in your direction. I thank God for that. Jesus Christ and all of his disciples.
Yeah.
In herself.
So love yourself first. We'll do that. And then your feelings won't get hurt when nobody else don't do.
Right.
Okay. In herself, she is loved.
In herself, she is beautiful. In herself, she is strong. Love y'all.
See you next week.
See you.